So Excel. Okay, so we have, in this case, just to share with you, so we have the year 0, 1, 2, 3. And so the first year is 1,000, okay? And if R is R is 12% and G is 8%. Okay, so if we calculate the PV at the year 0, okay, it's going to be 1,000, okay, divided by R minus G. Okay, so that's 25. So we are here, and this is a question A. Okay, and then we know that the amount will grow by 8% from one year to the other. Okay, so I made a mistake. So multiplié par 1 plus, okay, sorry. So it's 1,000 times 1 plus 8%. Okay, so is that it? Is that it? I don't remember. Okay, and so that's going to be this one divided by R minus G. Voila, 27. Okay, that's correct. Okay, so globally, this is what is asked to you. Okay, so the first question is, okay, you are in the date 0, so the first payment you will receive in 1 year, it's going to be 1,000. So what is the value of it? So it's C1. Okay, it's C1 divided by R minus G. Okay, and of course the year after, it's going to be C2 divided by R minus G. Okay, that's 27. Okay, so what I mean is that if you remember, so what we can say as a conclusion is that if you remember what we said in the question number 4, I think, when we discussed the value of the bond, it was, it's 2,500, and so it's going to stay the same. Okay, when we talked about a growing perpetuity, so constant perpetuity, the value will remain the same from 1 year to the other. Okay, because the cash flows are constant. Growing perpetuity, it's the value of the perpetuity will grow by 1 plus G from 1 year to the other. Because of course the cash flows are not constant from 1 year to the other. Okay, the cash flows are growing by 1 plus G. Okay, so 25 times 108 must be 27. Okay, 25 times 1 plus G, 27. Okay, so please keep in mind, and this is what I wanted to show you with this exercise number 8. This is what is important for you to remember. The difference between the constant perpetuity. The constant perpetuity, okay, it's going to be always like, the same amount of money every year. So it's not going to change. Okay, the present value of it will always be the same, after the payment, the yearly payment. For the growing perpetuity, as we can see, If we calculate the present value at the date 0, okay, we are based on 1000 divided by R minus G. If we calculate the present value 1 year after, we are based on 1080 divided by R minus G. Okay, so please keep in mind that the growing perpetuity, the value of it will grow by 1 plus G from 1 year to the other. Okay, because the cash flows are growing by 1 plus G, and the constant perpetuity, the value will remain the same from 1 year to the other because the cash flows are constant. Okay. Is that okay with everyone? This is what I wanted to share with you. So taking the opportunity to compare the growing perpetuity and the constant perpetuity. Is that correct for everyone? For the 27? Okay, so no remarks in the chat. So I missed a few results, I think. So I think okay. Thank you, Me. Thank you here for your feedback. So I think, is it okay if I correct the exercise, the next exercise, or you want some more time? So when you say yes, you mean you're ready, or more time? Okay. So okay. So let's work on the exercise number 9. It's not a difficult one. So let me show you the PDF document. Okay, so exercise number 9, we said, right? Okay, 9, 8, it was about the growing perpetuity. So 9, okay, what I like about this number 9 is that, okay, you are evaluating an asset, right? You work for a pharmaceutical company and you developed a new drug, okay? So you want to evaluate the value of the drug, meaning that here you are using what we learned together to calculate the value of an intangible asset, okay? That you find in accounting. You know, in the assets of a company, you have some tangible assets and you have some intangible assets. And sometimes the intangible assets, which are not physical, right? They are not physical. Sometimes even the company is developing those assets thanks to the research and development system. And so the question is, when you develop an asset yourself, it's not something you buy from the outside. So it's not easy to give it a value, right? Because when you buy to the outside, of course, you pay a price. So it's easy because the asset will come into your accounting for the price you paid. But here we are a company, we developed a new drug. We spent some time, people have been working on this in the R&D department. So how can we evaluate this? Well, actually, what we're studying together, the time value of money, it can be very interesting for this. Okay, so this is the approach here to calculate what we would call the fair value of the asset. Okay, so how can we say is the value of the asset? Well, we can say that the value of the asset is the present value of all the cash flows I will receive from the asset. Okay, so what do we know? This patent will last 17 years. Okay, so 17 years, it's not a perpetuity, it's an annuity. Okay, so that's the first thing we can say. 17 years means it's an annuity. Second thing, sorry, I sent a private message to Tui, sorry, annuity, okay, for everyone. So 17 years, it means it's an annuity. So do you expect that the drug's profit will be 2 million in its first year? Okay, so C1 is 2 million. And the amount will grow by a rate of 5%. Okay, for the next 16 years. Okay, once a patent expires, other pharmaceutical companies will be able to produce the same drug, and competition will drive profits to 0. So what is the present value of the new drug if the interest is 10%? Okay, so it's a growing annuity. And I think here shared with you, it's the calculation. So exactly what I said, C it's 2 million. We could say here, we could say C1 is 2 million because C2 will be different from C1. So maybe you can index C1, so you better know where you are. G is 5%, R is 10%, N is 17%. That's correct. And so you can calculate, okay? So you have in the chat the version of your colleague here, and you have on the screen, you have let's say maybe another way to show the formula. So this is how it is. The present value, 2 million divided by R minus G times the factor of annuity, which includes 1 plus G here, right? So growing annuity. And so we find 21.8 million for this one. Okay, so do you have any question? Because I can see some students interacting on the chat. Some other don't interact on the chat. Maybe that it's just they prefer to be left alone and just work on them by themselves. But I really would like, if there is any person who would like to have more comment or who does not understand or would like to know more, please interact in the chat so I can help you and give you an additional explanation if you need. If I don't have anything in the chat, I move on to the next exercise, of course. So it seems that I don't have, okay. I don't have any other comments. So I think we can move to exercise number 10. Okay. So I let you, okay, for me. So that's good. So, okay, so I can see that people have found the result, so it's good. So now we can move to the exercise number 10. So I'm gonna let you 5 minutes to do it. I know that some of you already give me some results. So let me show you what we have here. Okay, so this one, exercise number 10. You are running a hot internet company, meaning a startup, right? It's a startup. Analysts predict that the earning will grow at 30% per year for the next 5 years. After that, competition increases, earning growth expected to slow to 2% per year and will continue at that level forever. Your company has just announced earnings of 1,000. What is the present value of all future earnings if the interest is 8%? So I would like to share with you a few things here. Firstly, what we evaluate is a company, okay? So we evaluate a company. I think, Dong, your answer is correct. 51.8, 98 million is correct. Okay, so what we have, I'm sorry? No. So I think it's not for me, the sound. So I'm gonna mute everyone, right? Okay. I think there's some student, am I mute too? Okay, no, I'm not mute. So, okay, so coming back to what I was saying. So here in this exercise, we evaluate a company, okay? So that's the first thing, evaluate a company. The second thing is that we have 2 moments, okay? We have 2 moments. 2 moments. During 5 years, G will be equal to 30%, okay? The earning will grow at 30% in the next 5 years. After that, competition increases. And so the earning is expected to slow. So from year 6, after that, let's say, after that, G is only equal to 2% forever. Okay. So we have firstly growing annuity during 5 years. Okay. From year 1 to 5. Okay. And then secondly, we have a growing perpetuity from year 6 to the infinite with G equal to 2%. Okay, so you need to do two separate calculations to do two separate calculations. Okay, so I'll let you 5 more minutes to think about it. The right answer was provided by one of your colleagues already. It's 51.98 million, if you want to know. Okay. I'll let you 5 minutes to concentrate on this, and I will show the solution in 5 minutes. Okay. So congratulations to Dong, and that's the only, yeah, so that's the only. So for Hien, Chan, and other people, it's not 45.8 million. I'll let you think about what could be your mistake, and I think I will show on Excel the solution. It's easier. So I'll let you 5 minutes. Okay, so I'll let you concentrate for 5 minutes, and sorry, and I come back. Okay, so I can see some results and not exactly correct. So I don't know exactly what are you doing, the mistake you're doing. So I have an idea because I know the typical mistakes students do for this exercise. So so I'm gonna again, since I don't have a blackboard that I can work, I cannot write on the blackboard. There is a blackboard on Zoom, but it's you know, typing. So I think for me the best solution is to go for Excel. Okay, so let me go on Excel, and so you should see. Tell me if you see. Can you see my screen, or you can't see my screen? It's okay. You see the Excel? No. Okay. So I think yes, you must see the Excel now. Is that okay now? Okay. So I don't know why I have to put it on my second screen. The problem is I don't have the data anymore. So I have to, okay, just take the PDF document and put it on the other screen. So, okay. So it should be okay now. So, okay, so let me just write the years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. Okay, so that's the years. That's the years. So today it's 2 million. Okay, so that's the first thing which was maybe tricky. Your company just announced 1 million. So 1 million is announced today. May you zoom it larger, Prof? Is that better now? There is a... Okay, okay, good. So 1 million today. Okay, so the first thing that we had to understand is that it's going to grow by 30%. So in 1 year, it's going to be 1 million. Okay, today it's 1 million. So in 1 year, it's going to be 1 million times, sorry, I'm going to put G somewhere. So G is 30%. Okay. So in 1 year, the cash flow will be 1 times 1 plus 30%. Okay, so the first mistake that usually students do for this case is that they consider 1 million here instead of 1.3 million. And I agree that the case not so clear because they say your company has just announced earnings of 1 million. So that is today. Okay, today we announced 1 million. Okay, so it means that it's like you are picking up this information, and so you can predict what will be the earnings in 1 year, knowing that they will grow by 30%. Okay, and so then it's going to grow by 30% each year. Okay, so let me put some dollars here so I can drag my formula during 5 years, right? And then Prof, if I announce today, does it mean year 0 is equal 1? We don't take we don't take 1 here. If it's your question, we take nothing here. It's just what we can say is 1 happened yesterday. Yes, we can say that 1 happened yesterday, so it's out of your calculation. Okay, and because you received the earnings already, and so you know it's just been paid yesterday. So now the next one would be in 1 year. So compared to exercise number 4 we did together, we could say like it's like we are just after the payment, after the announcement of 1 million. So we do not consider the 1 million at the year 0, okay? But we use it to be able to calculate the cash flow at the year 1. Okay, so G is equal to 30% here. Okay, and so that's the same here. And so now G is equal to 2%, right? 2% I think, afterwards. Yes. So, so where is the start point to calculate for next 1 year to have? So where is the start point to calculate for next 1 year to have one? That's today. I mean, today at the end of the day, if you prefer. So we just announced one. And so just after we just announce one, we can predict for, it's not 1.03, by the way, it's 1.3, right? It's 30%. So it's just today that we know that we just finished to receive 1 million. Okay, so this is finished, and now we think about what's going to happen in the future. So it's gonna be the starting point is just after we announced the 1 million. Okay. Okay, so that's the first thing. It's quite tricky, yes, I know, but it's always what we can say is that when we calculate the present value of something, it's today, right? And so it's always the first cash flow that will occur will always be in 1 year. Okay, so what was not maybe very clear in this case is that when we say your company just announced 1 million, we should not include the 1 million in the calculation. It's just that we use this information to calculate future cash flow. So do we conclude 1 million this year in PV? No, we do not consider the 1 million in this year in the cash flow. It's just what is helpful for us to calculate the 1.3 next year. Okay, so that's true that the way it's said, yeah, the way it's said, it's not very clear. Okay, so usually I try to, if I want to be sincere with you, I will try to avoid this kind of formulation. Usually I will try to say the first cash flow in 1 year will be 1.3. Okay, I think this is easier for everyone. So this is usually what I do, like in the previous case, right? 2 million in its first year, and so you did not have any problem to do the calculation at the moment. So that's the way it is. Okay, so we have on the screen, we have this, right? So here it's a growing, that's a growing annuity, okay? During 5 years. And then we have a growing perpetuity from year 6 to the infinite. Perpetuity from year 6 to the infinite. Okay, let's say it's blue, for example. Okay, so that's going to begin here. Okay, so it's going to be 371 times 1 plus 2%. Okay, and it's going to go on forever. Forever. Okay. So the thing is, so this is what I wanted to show you, the cash flow. So the thing is, you have to understand that we have firstly, so we have two things to calculate. We have to calculate the present value of the annuity, of the growing annuity over 5 years. And then we have to calculate the present value at year 5 of the growing perpetuity that goes from year 6 to infinite. Okay, and we have to discount this perpetuity to the year 0. Okay, because this perpetuity will be here. Okay, so that could be gonna begin from year 6 to the infinite. Okay, so finally the present value of this perpetuity will be calculated here. It's gonna be this one divided by R, which is 8% minus 2%. Okay, why does it matter? Okay, divisible. Okay, this 62. Okay, so this 62, let me check that the result is correct. No, it's not. Okay, I know why. Yes, that's correct. So this 63.12, okay, this is the growing perpetuity at year 5 that represent year 6 to the infinite. Okay, and so it has to be added to this one, to the cash flow of year 5, okay, to calculate the total cash flow that we need to discount. Okay, or another way to put it is to say I calculate the growing annuity over 5 years, okay, which is the orange thing. So which one is it? Anyway, and we have to calculate also the growing perpetuity, which is the blue thing. Okay, so these are the two things that we have to calculate. Okay, so if we have a look, if you prefer, in the PDF document, this is the way it's presented. Maybe you prefer this way. Can you see the PDF? Okay. Okay, so PDF. Can you see it now? Yes. Okay, so another way, okay, so another way to put it is this way. Okay, so in 1 year, I'm gonna have 1.3. It's gonna grow by 1.3 during 5 years. Okay, and then from year 6 to the infinite, it's gonna grow only by 1.02. Okay, 1.02 here. Okay, so again, we have a growing perpetuity for 5 years. Okay, and so we can calculate this growing perpetuity using the formula. Okay, so that's the growing perpetuity formula that we have here. So that's the value of the growing annuity during 5 years. So from year 1 to 5. Okay, so that's why we get 5 years here. And now we calculate all the rest that goes from the year 6 to the infinite. Okay, so the year 6 to the infinite, it's going to be a growing perpetuity after 5 years. Okay, so the growing perpetuity was going to be the first term of it, this one, okay, 1.3 exponent 5 times 1.02 divided by R minus G with the new growing rate, right, which is 2%. Okay, and so we find the value of the growing perpetuity. But the value would be calculated at the date 5. We are here, right? Because we are 1 year earlier than the first cash flow, right? Because present value is always at the date 0. And when you calculate the present value at the date 0, it's always because your first cash flows happen in year 1. So if the growing perpetuity begin year 6 with this first cash flow, 1.3 exponent 5 times 1.02, if it means that when we calculate the present value of this growing perpetuity, we calculate it 1 year earlier. Okay, so that's at the year 5 that we calculated. So when we calculate 63.12, which is this cash flow of the growing perpetuity divided by R minus G, okay, we calculate the present value in year 5 of the growing perpetuity. So we are not finished because we need to bring this value down to the year 0, okay, to be able to calculate the value today of the growing perpetuity. So this is what we do here. We discount the 63.12 by 1 plus the rate plus the discount rate exponent 5. Okay, and so we have the present value of the growing perpetuity. Okay, so it means that at that moment we have the present value of the growing annuity, which is 9.02 million, and we have the present value of the growing perpetuity. Okay, recalculated date 0, so it's 42.96. And so now we have the two things which are calculated date 0, so we can add them to calculate the present value of our company. Okay, so that's my explanation. Can you ask me the questions now in the chat so we can check if you have any question? Or is that clear for everyone? Okay, that's great. That's super great. I'm very happy. I'm very happy because it was quite tricky to explain. I'm very happy, people. Okay, so good. I'm very happy for everyone. I'm very happy you get it, guys. Really, I really am. Okay, so we have one last exercise to do before the break. So this is the last one, exercise number 12. This one is about the number of years. Okay, so here you are saving to make a down payment on a house. So what I mean is that that's correct. Okay, so some of you guys have it already. Okay, so okay, great. Congrats. Okay, so you know what? I just finished to read the text. I give 5 minutes to other people to work on the case, and then I show the solution. But that's correct, 7 years. So you are saving to make a down payment on a house. So you already have 10,050 saved already, so year 0, and you can afford to save an additional 5,000 per year at the end of each year. So if you earn 7.25% rate, how long will it take you to save $60,000? Okay, so what you need to calculate here is, so it's exercise number 12. Yes, so actually I show a part of the answer, which is so we have this formula that we can say. So the future value is what? The amount we have, okay, we have that already, time 1 plus the rate, exponent the number of years we will need to be able to to save this money, okay, plus the future value of the constant annuity of 5,000 each year that we have to pay during a number of years we don't know. So the premise here, this is why I wanted us to work on this, is that what we are searching for is the number of years to be able to reach 60,000. Okay, so that's true that we can use logarithm to solve this. This is what I wanted to show you. So I just let you 5 minutes to try to do it by yourself, and I show the rest of the solution in 5 minutes. Okay. Well, I can see that some of you are quite comfortable with those tools. The good thing in finance is that sometimes we can use mathematics also. We will not always, but for this chapter, it's useful. It's not a mathematics class, but we have to, be comfortable with the tools, and we will move on to some more accounting tools. So it's going to be a mix of everything that makes you, I think, in the future, good professionals for your company, right? Because you are good in technique. You have a good technique. You have a good understanding of the topics. So you can be very helpful for your company. You can see already that some of you, they have already all the answers and everything. So it means that, you can bring that also for your jobs and everything. So that's very, very convenient for you guys. Okay, so let's have a look at the solution. You should be able to see the entire solution now, maybe earlier. Actually, I don't know exactly to which extent you see all the screen or not. But anyway, this is a full answer. Okay, so what was maybe tricky here was, and this is my advice maybe for those of you who would be maybe less comfortable with mathematics, is that do not hesitate to draw a line, on your paper with a timeline, okay? And so you can put the cash flows to see exactly when they happen. In this case, we have at the date 0, we have 10,050, okay, because we bring that to today. And then we will bring 5,000 every year. For we don't know for how many years, and this is what we have to determine. So on one hand, there is one unique cash flow that will be capitalized for a certain number of years at the rate of 7.25%, which is a discount rate. And on the other hand, we have a constant annuity of 5,000 every year that we do not know how many years we will need, okay? And since it's a future value, we have to capitalize it as well. And what we know is that at the end of the day, it needs to be equal to 60,000. This is what we need to reach. And once you have this, of course, you have nearly solved the problem, right? You just need now to do some mathematics and to isolate 1 point r exponent n to find it equal to something like here. So this is what we find after 2 lines, okay? 1.63. And then you have 2 methods. The first is to use a logarithm, as some of you guys do, and as we do here. But you can also, I don't care. It's not a mathematics class. So if you arrive here, you know that you have 1.63 and you know that it's 107.0725 exponent n. You can just try with different values of n to check, right? And you say trial error and you say it's around 7 years. For me, it's enough. As long as I have this before, it's enough, okay? So thinking about the exam, if you feel less comfortable about mathematics, it will not be all the exam that will be like this. It will be some questions, but you do not hesitate to draw the timeline. Okay, if you draw the timeline to show me where the cash flows are and everything, that shows already that you understood, and it will be helpful for you for your calculation. It's already the beginning of the answer, and then you can write the the equality like this. And so you can show me already also that you understand how it works, okay? And that's it. Okay, so here it's 7 years. So what does it mean? It means that we are able to say to the person that if they want to have $60,000 ready, it will take 7 years to them. Okay, so it's like maybe the situation, or it can be your situation, or you are the bank advisor of a person. And so the person come to you and say, I would like to buy a house, and I would like to buy a house of this amount. And you say, okay, if you want to do this amount for the house, you need to bring 20% of the value, and 20% of the value of the house is 60,000. Okay, and so the person can anticipate and say, okay, so I need to gather 60,000, knowing that I have 10,000 already, and so on and so on. So okay, so I can come back in 7 years to buy the house, for example. Okay, so that could be the way it works. 7 years is a little bit long, maybe, to gather the money to pay, and maybe the house market will have been increasing in between. But I mean, it's just a theoretical example. Is that okay for everyone? Do you have any question about this exercise? Or is that clear for everyone? Is that okay? Okay. Thank you very much. We have a French speaker in the room. I think you were saying bonsoir to me yesterday, I think, already. So that's always nice to see some French speaking. Unfortunately, I'm not able to speak Vietnamese, and I know to say bravo. So I can say Xin Chào, I think it's correct, or Gam On, you know, thank you, whatever. But you know, it's just survival vocabulary, right? Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce correctly that Xin Chào. So I try to. This is all my Vietnamese, but at least I try. Okay, so I don't know how you say, but enjoy your dinner, but I think I'm gonna say that to you now. Enjoy your dinner. So we have a break now for 20 minutes. So it's 8:32. So let's meet at 8:52. And we finish with time value of money. So we will discuss a theory about interest rates after the dinner. So bon appetit, enjoy your dinner, and see you in 20 minutes. I keep on recording, so we have only one file at the end of the day, okay? So you just have to navigate into the file later on. But, okay, allez, bon appétit. See you in 20 minutes. Okay, so I hope you are here back with me. So it's it's time to go for the second part of the session today. I hope you had time to enjoy your dinner, or maybe you had dinner before the class, but you had the time to have a little break on this Saturday evening. So we have a little bit more than 1 hour to work together before you can enjoy finally the rest of your evening. So for me, it's the morning, we have exactly 12 hours difference. So it's, it's 8:52 in the morning here. Okay, so can you see my PDF document? Yes, okay. It was just also to check that you are here and that you can hear me, that everything is okay. Thank you very much. So, okay, so it's the second PDF document that you can find on Canvas. It's about interest rates. So if you need to know more, you can go and read the chapter 5 of the book, okay? But in the slides and together, we will already discuss a large summary of what is important to know. Firstly, we are so there are two parts in this chapter. The first part is about discussing loans, calculations, and so on. The second part is about the determinants of the interest rate. So it's more a theoretical discussion about economics, the macroeconomics, let's say, microeconomics. So two different parts in this chapter. So the first part is about calculation. And so when we talk about calculation, we need, so what we're gonna do firstly is we're gonna try to find a way to calculate monthly rate or semi-annual rate or quarterly rate out of an annual rate. And to do so, we have two types of rates, okay? The first is gonna try to switch to my Excel file very quickly to see if it's feasible. So we have two types of rate. We have the effective annual rate and annual proportional rate, okay? And we will see that to calculate the monthly rate, let's say that we have two different ways we have two different rates. Okay, so for the moment, just keep in mind that we're going to discuss two different rates. We're going to discuss EAR and APR. Okay, and so we will come back to the Excel when we want to compare the two. Okay, so keep in mind that we are discussing two different rates. Okay, so coming back to the PDF document, so we firstly discuss the effective annual rate. Okay, so EAR. So this rate is the one, it's an annual rate. Okay, firstly, or usually rates are given on a yearly basis. So we're going to have two types of yearly rates. Okay, and then we will try to transform that to monthly rate using two different approaches. So the first is effective annual rate. So the effective annual rates, it considers the effect of compounding. Okay, so when we go within a year, we're gonna calculate, we're gonna use the compound interest formula to be able to calculate the monthly rate out of the yearly rate. Okay, so for example, if we want, so this is a formula we're going to use. Okay, we're going to use this. So we're going to say 1 plus r exponent n minus 1 to calculate the equivalent n period discount rate. So for example, let's say we have a 5% EAR. Okay, 5% EAR. So to calculate the semi-annual for 6 months rate, we're going to do 1 plus the annual rate, so 1.05, exponent 0.5, meaning exponent 6 divided by 12, okay, to make it semi-annual, okay. So that means that the 2.47% that we find, okay, is the semi-annual rate for an EAR of 5%. Okay, semi-annual rate for the EAR of 5%. So if you want to calculate, for example, let's say the monthly rate for this monthly rate that is equivalent to a 5% EAR, we're gonna do 1.105 exponent 1 divided by 12 minus 1, okay? So that's, if I do it with my calculator, 1.5, if you have it, you can share exponent 1 divided by 12. So do you have it? The monthly rate, which is equivalent to 5% EAR. So 1.05 exponent 1 divided by 12 minus 1. Can you share the answer in the chat? Someone? There's someone who can calculate that for me? Yes. Usually try to keep more information after the dot, because if not, you're gonna maybe have some issues. Yes, usually I keep 4, so it's 0.1474, right? 0.1474. Oh, sorry, 0.1474. Yeah, okay, percent. So that's correct. So try to keep 4 figures after the dot. That's my advice. To be able to, okay, yeah, like we do here, right? But yeah, like I do, 4 figures after the dot, even more than what I have here. So because if when you do monthly calculations afterwards, maybe you will have some differences. It's no big deal. Huh? I will not penalize for an exam if you have $1 or $2 difference, but just my advice: keep it precise at that level so you can, so it's easier. Okay, so now let's take an example. Suppose your bank account pays interest monthly with interest rate quote as an effective EAR of 6%. What amount of interest will you earn each month? So the first question is actually, what is the monthly EAR? Okay, that's the first question. It's not clear the way it's said. And second question, if you have no money in the bank today, how much will you need to save at the end of each month to accumulate $100,000 in 10 years? So that's a future value in 10 years, okay, that you have to calculate. But you have to find C, which is every month, okay? So if it's every month, it means also that 10 years, it means 120 months, okay? So firstly, calculate the monthly rate, and secondly, what is C in this situation? Okay, so I'll let you have 5 minutes to do it, and we discuss the solution together. So it's the same thing we just did in the time value of money chapter, except that now the cash flows are every month, not every year. So this is, of course, the first new thing in this chapter is to go with monthly rate. So I think the first answer is okay for the rate. Yes. And for the second answer, it's not okay. So maybe Hong, did you take 10 years or instead of, I think you took 10 years instead of 120 months regarding the amount you find. So the first question is okay, 0.486%. It's correct. And for the second answer, it's more like 600 something. And do not forget, it's a future value as well. It's a little bit less than that, Kian. It's about 615. Chang, you find the same thing than Kian? That's strange. You considered 120, right? For the 120 months. And 100,000, it's a future value in 10 years, right? Okay. So it's not 55. Should be, let me check, but it should be 615. 615.47. Yeah, yeah. So we have, okay. So we have students now who find the right answer. Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't see you, Anne, firstly, but you gave me the answer. That's correct. So you have, yeah, so see, we have 3 cents of difference. So no big deal. What about Kian and Chang? Did you find what was your mistake? Because you find the same thing. You find the same thing, 1,000. Yes, that's correct. 0.4876. Okay, so Kian is okay too. So I don't know for Kian and Chong, how did they find 1,102? They found the same thing. If you want to share. So it seems that now many students find the right solution. So we can see that we have, yeah, see, only a few cents of difference. Okay, let me show the solution then. Let me show the solution. So it's a screenshot from the book, huh? So you can find the same thing in the book. If I were here, I would write my way on the board, but we don't have a board, okay? So I think for everyone, the first step was not a problem, okay, to find the equivalent monthly EAR to a 6% annual. So it's 1.06 exponent 1 divided by 12 minus 1, 0.4868%. So as you can see, of course, it's a little bit less than 0.5, right? Because if you do 6% divided by 12, that's 0.5%. Of course, a little bit less than that because here in this situation, you consider that there is a compounding effect every month. Okay, so it means that you consider that you save your money every month and you earn interest every month. So of course you accumulate some capital and so the interest rate is lower. Huh? And then we know how to calculate the cash the future the present value of we don't have it here, so I'm going to put it on Excel. They do the other way around with the other formula. So let me do it my way then. So we have a rate. So I'm going to increase. Right. So the rate is 0.4868. 68. I see 76 here, but I'm not sure this is it. 68. So I'm sharing my Excel again. Okay, so 68. C is what we are searching for. N is N is 120 because we have 120 periods. And that's it, right? And so we want the future value to be 120. So future value, I will call it future value 120, okay? Because its future value is in 120 months. So the formula is a C divided by R times 1 minus 1 divided by 1.5868 exponent 120. Okay, so that's the formula. So and that should be, that's the present value of it. That's the present value, and the future value will be this. Okay, the future value will be this time 1.4868 exponent 120. Okay, that's the two steps. Okay, because in the official solution they show directly they use directly the formula of the future value of an annuity. So if you want to do two steps, you should do this way. Okay, so firstly calculate the present value. Okay, so present value will be you don't know because this is C that you are calculating as, I'm sorry. So the future value here, that must be equal to 100,000. And so here you just have to solve the 100,000 here, okay, to solve the C, knowing that R here is 0.004868, okay. And so here also, sorry, I forgot my 2 zeros. Okay, so that should be okay now. So here also I forgot the 0.0. See, I forget it also myself sometimes. So that should be okay. I don't know if someone has something to add to this, but that should be okay, I think. And so this is how you can solve it by going from the present value to the rest. And so this is what they do, but they do it in one step here. Okay, and so they recalculate here C, knowing the future value 100,000. Okay, and so using the annuity formula, but searching for C, and so we find 615.47 per month in the calculation. You also have, I don't take the time to do it, but you also have the name of the formula you can use directly in Excel. I don't do it because okay, so okay, you consider, so Chang, you consider 100,000 as a present value instead of a future value. Okay, I understand. That makes sense now. At least you will not do the mistake twice. Now you will remember. That's always the good way of learning from our mistakes, so that you will not do the mistake again. Okay, so yeah, so you have also the formula you can use directly on Excel. So I don't do it because your final exam will be taken on a paper with a pen and a calculator. And so I prefer not to use Excel calculations. We will use it for the group work because you know what, the group work, you will use a template, so we will use a formula, so it's going to be fun. But for me also, I like it that we use a calculator and the pen, because that means that we use our brain. You know, sometimes when we use directly the formula from Excel, sometimes we don't know what is behind the formula. So I know that in the professional life, you will use a formula. I do too, and in some other contexts, I use a formula as well. When I teach, for example, to Canadian future CPAs, but you know, for the moment, it's good that we know how it works. For me, it's very important. We know to do it manually. If we do know how to do it manually, you know, we know how to do it. Okay, so here, so we find 615 for the monthly annuity. So that means that the person will have to pay 615 every month during 120 months, meaning 10 years, to be able to accumulate $100,000 in 10 years. So this was what was required in the case. Okay. And so here, what was new for us, of course, was to have two steps, have an additional step, which is firstly to calculate the monthly rate. And once we have the monthly rate, we do we use the formula we know. Okay. So that's it for this example. Now let's talk about the other one. So this is where I prefer to warn you, it becomes sometimes confusing for the students. Let me explain why. The second type of rate is what we call the annual percentage rate. Annual, I said proportional, but annual percentage rate, APR. Okay, so this one use a simple interest approach and does not use the effect of compounding. So it means that when we go in Excel, for example, and I compare the two type of rates, here certainly, yeah. So it's just R divided by 12. So sorry, I increase a little bit the size. So annual percentage rate, okay, it's the same. Huh? It's proportional anyway. So R divided by 12. Okay, so instead of doing this formula, we use this formula to calculate the monthly rate. Okay, so we change so the difference is the way we calculate the monthly rate. Okay, and the problem is, what is not intuitive is that usually this rate, the APR, is usually what banks will use to calculate the monthly rate they use for loans. Okay, so it means that in the first step, as we just did an example just earlier, okay, we use the monthly EAR, and then we did the calculation. We would do the same thing, except that we would use a monthly APR instead. And this is usually what they do. Okay, so we have to be careful, because when they do so, it's going to make a difference. For example, no, we're not going to take the previous example because it's a future value. So I'm going to have a look at what is in the slides. I'm sure there is an example afterwards. Okay, so annual percentage rate, APR itself cannot be used at this discount rate, but we use the monthly rate as a discount rate. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to take an example because I don't have an example. So let's consider an example. Okay. So you say that, for example, you can see my Excel. Now you must see my Excel, right? So let's consider one example. Okay, so let's consider an example. We have a loan of, let's say, $50,000. Okay, it's 5 years. Sorry, 5 years. Okay. We have 5 years, okay, with monthly payments. Okay, so I would like you firstly to calculate the monthly APR to calculate the C, the monthly payment C, if we use the monthly APR in the calculation. Okay, calculation. Okay, and third question, calculate the monthly EAR, and 4, calculate the monthly payment if we use the EAR. Okay. So I'll let you a few minutes to do this, and we discuss the answer afterwards. Sorry, I didn't say the rate. So we have 5 years, $50,000 monthly payment, and we say we have a rate of 6%. Okay, annual rate of 6%. Okay, I think we have all the information. So I do it at the same moment with you, so you can check. But So Dong, this is correct, A and B. So what do we have for Hien? It's correct for the rate as well. So for the B, I think it's correct, but you have, it's not 96, it's 966. So I don't know. I think maybe you forgot 10 somewhere for maybe the rate or something like this. Three, so we have, so it's equal to 1.06 exponent 1 divided by 12 minus 1. Okay, that's correct. Been too optimistic in my okay. So I see that Trang anticipated a question. So I think, Trang, you did not answer to the question, but you have a good answer still. So Hien, okay, you took 5,000 instead of 50,000. So that's why you have. So your calculation is correct. It's just that you missed 10. Okay, and that's correct for Dong for questions 3 and 4, and for Tai Dao, I think the D, it does not show the same 6.96%. I don't know what it is that you have. And Trang, what you did is correct, but for the EAR 6.1678, I'm going to explain what it is. So okay, as the good answer, yeah. Yes, so it's correct, It's correct. It's actually what I added here. And so I can put the way you do as well. And we're gonna explain why. I just let 2 or 3 minutes for everyone to have a chance to finish the calculation, and then I discuss my solution with you. But I can feel that you understand what it is. because you capped the annual rate already. So in this case, EAR is lower than APR. For what are you saying this? Yes, actually, yes, actually, I think I understand what you say. So yes, when we use a monthly APR of 0.5, obviously we use something which is higher than the EAR. So we can see we have a higher rate. So of course, when we recalculate that on a yearly basis, it's higher. It's higher. This is what we wanted to show actually. I don't know if it's what you said. It's not a question of capping, I guess. It's more a question of what we use in the formula. So maybe I'm gonna, for you, I'm gonna, not for you, but for everyone, I'm gonna re-explain, and then if it answers to your question, you tell me, okay? So okay, so let's recapitulate this example. So we have a loan of 50,000 for 5 years, so that means 60 months, right? 60 months. Monthly payments. Okay, so you will always have that in your exam. You will always have. Usually you will have with monthly compounding. Okay, so you know that it's to be, the payments are monthly, and you are provided, usually you are provided an APR. So usually the case will say you have an APR with monthly compounding. Okay, so the first thing you have to do in this case, this is the usual thing that you will have to do and that we usually do. Firstly, you calculate the monthly APR. So monthly APR is the rate divided by the number of period, right? So here it's rate divided by 12. Okay, so that's the first thing. Then you calculate if we use EPR. Okay, so you use the time value of money formula that we use generally, but using the APR. Okay, so this is what we do here. Okay, we use the formula for the constant annuity with, as we can see, the APR, and so we calculate that's a monthly payment. Okay, so that's a monthly payment. Okay, so that's C. So every month people will pay 966.64. Okay. But finally, if you use a 0.5, so when we use a 0.5, when we use 0.5% monthly APR in our calculation, the real cost, the real interest rate will then be higher than 6% annual. Okay, because if we do what we do here, we say, okay, let's check. So we used 0.05 exponent 12, okay, because this is what we used, right? -1. So that means that's a real rate here. So when we use the APR of 0.5% per month, okay, so at the first place, what we do, we have a rate of 6%. Okay, so we are said it's 6%. Okay, so you say, okay, I do the monthly APR. So this is 0.5. Okay, because it's 6% divided by 12. And then I use that in my compounding formula with monthly compound. Okay, but finally at the end of the process, when you use 0.5, you use a higher rate than the 0.4868, right? So it means that it's more expensive for the customer. And so what is the really rate we used? Well, we can recalculate the yearly rate from the monthly rate. So the yearly rate, so that is the, let's say the yearly EAR, which is related, let's say, to a monthly APR of 0.5%. Okay. So by using the monthly APR here, we are taking a more expensive solution. If we are more fair to the customer, we say, okay, we take the monthly EAR, which is 106 exponent 1 divided by 12 minus 1. Okay, so this is what we should use. We should use this, and we would have then 0.4868%. Okay, and we can see that the payment would be a little bit lower. It would be 962 instead of 966. The problem is, and this is why it's tricky, and I hope you understand, in real life, what the banks are doing is that they are using the monthly, they are using this method, 1+2. They are using this method. You are provided an annual rate, which is supposed to be said to be an APR, 6%. Okay, you have to use it to calculate the monthly rate by divided by 12 here, and then you use the rate in your formula. And so, of course, in your formula, since you consider that you have a monthly compounding, finally, you find something a little bit more expensive than if you were using the monthly EAR. It's because when we recalculate the rate, the monthly rate on a yearly basis, we are saying that it's 6%. Okay, it is said that it's 6%, but in reality, you pay 6.16%, 6.17 nearly. And this is what is done in real life. So this is what you have to do. So what you will have to do always in your cases, firstly, calculate. So let's say, I don't have to put it again. This is what you will have to do usually during the exams and during our cases together. Firstly, you calculate monthly APR, and then you calculate C if we use the APR. And usually you are also asked to calculate this, okay? To recalculate the yearly EAR, which is linked to this. Okay, this is usually how it works. Do you understand? Do you have any question in the chat? No question? Okay, so it seems that it's okay. I think we have an example in the slides afterwards. Let me check. So let me summarize also what we have. Okay. So let me just yeah. Okay, let me summarize everything. So we have two types of rates. We have the effective annual rate. Okay, that takes into account the effect of compounding. So when we calculate a periodic rate, we take 1 plus r exponent 1 divided, x n divided by 12 minus 1. Okay, and so this return, this rate will be lower than when we calculate the APR, because the APR is easier to calculate. The APR, it's the yearly rate, yearly APR divided by the number of periods. So 6% divided by 12. Okay. But if we want to recalculate the real rate that we paid, this is what we do. What we said is 1.6% divided by 12, so 1.005 exponent 12 minus 1, and we find 6.16%. Okay, so it means that, to summarize, usually we will use the APR, the periodic APR, for our compounding calculations. Okay, so it means that we will have something which is more expensive than what it said. Okay, so for example, as we said, when we use a 6% APR with a monthly basis, so it's like we use finally on a yearly basis 6.1678. Okay, so it's like the bank says it's 6%, but you pay 6.16%. Okay, so we could say it's not fair, the bank is not fair with us and everything, but actually the bank does the same the other way around. When you invest on short-term investments, they do the same. They do the same calculation. So sometimes it's at your benefit, sometimes it's not at your benefit. But this is what they do. Okay, and so the other thing we can say here also is that the higher is the frequency of the compounding, the higher will be the real rate that you pay. For example, if you have a semi-annual compounding, okay, so you will use 6% divided by 2, so 3%, okay? And finally, when you recalculate that on a yearly basis, it's like you pay 6.09 instead of 6%. So it's less expensive than if you have a monthly compounding. Because of course, the higher the frequency of the compounding, the higher will be the penalty for you of using the proportional rate for your calculation. Okay, so finally, if you have semi-annual compounding, so instead of paying 6%, you pay finally 6.09. If you have a monthly compounding, instead of paying 6%, you finally pay 6.16 something, which is actually what we calculated. And if you have a daily compounding, so that would be 6.18. Okay. And let me also say that if you have annual compounding, okay, so you say 6% divided by 1, okay, in the calculation, and we can see that there is no difference, okay, because the frequency of the compounding is the same for the APR and the EAR. Okay, so it does not make a difference. Okay for that? I think we have an example afterwards. So of course we can use this formula for loans. Okay. Okay, so we have an example. So we have the opportunity to train again together. Okay, so you have this example. Let me write down the question in the chat. So you consider $30,000 car loan with 60 equal monthly payment computed using 6.75% APR with monthly compounding. Okay, so you see all the information which is provided. It is said that it's an APR. So you know that if you have monthly compounding, then you're going to divide 6.75 by 12. Okay, so first question, calculate monthly APR. We're going to do exactly the same thing we did in Excel, so you can check you have well understood. Secondly, calculate C. Okay, calculate C, so the monthly payments. And 3, what is the real EAR applied to the loan? Okay, I'm very confident that you're going to find this and you will be able to check that you have well understood. So I'll let you 5 minutes. You can share your answers in the chat. I'm going to do it manually for once. So I use the same tool than you. Okay. Because I want to let the PDF shared, so I don't want to go on Excel. So 656 is correct, but maybe try to keep 5625, I think, to have more details for your calculation. If not, maybe you will have you will have some approximation in your calculation. So it's 675%. Okay, and 60. Okay, so 1. Yes, so I see some good answers already. 5625, that's correct. 590, I agree. Hong, I agree. Chong, Dang is okay for the rate. An is okay for the C. It's not a percentage though, it's an amount in money. And Hong Dong have the right EAR, which is 696. And find also 590. Chung find the EAR 696.28. That I agree. And same thing for Luong. So for Kian, I think you have maybe to double check your C. There is a mistake in your C. It's not 421, it's 590, as here is sharing with us now. So yes, it's correct for everyone. Yeah, okay, so if you found your mistake, that's okay. So let me share my Excel file so I can show you the calculation. But I did it manually, but anyway, c'est pas grave. C, C times, it's just for everyone to have access to the information. 0,05625 exposant 60. That should be okay. And so C is 590.5. Okay, 2, c'est C. And 3, c'est E, so the EAR, so it's 1005625 exponent 12 minus 1. And that's 6.96. So yes, so please double check your last and okay, I think you okay. I now understand what you did for the, but it was not what was asked. We wanted to recalculate the EAR, which is equivalent to a monthly APR of 0.5625. So it's 6.963 maybe. It seems to be 6.963. Okay, so I add that. Okay, to my so EAR. So if we summarize, so we were told that we have, so this is typically what you could have, right? For the exam, or you can see, okay, my Excel is freezing. Okay, so I share it again. Is that okay now? Okay, so thank you for warning me. It's very useful because I cannot know, and so yeah. Okay, so yeah, we have a loan of 60,000. The APR was provided 6.75. It says it's monthly. It was said it's monthly compounding. Okay, so we know that we have firstly to calculate the monthly APR, which is 675 divided by 12. Then we can use our time value of money formula to calculate C. And then just for us to be sure about what we do, we will calculate the EAR, which is 6.963 that we have. Okay, so we were said it's 675, but finally we will pay 696. Okay, so that is for this calculation. So yeah, so that was one thing I wanted to share with you. So, oh yes, and so we finish with this one. So, okay, so just to check in the version with the solution. So we add it here, okay, 590, okay. So now we can also, and that's the last thing we can do, we can also compute the outstanding loan balance by calculating the present value of remaining loan payments. Okay, so for example, so 2 years ago, your firm took a 30 years amortizing loan to purchase a small office building. The loan has 4.80% APR with monthly payments of 2,623.33. Okay. So how much do you owe on the loan today? And how much interest did the firm pay on the loan in the past year? So just before getting into the details, is there someone in the chat who could say to me how we can do this? So basically you are asked, you know that within a payment of a loan, when you pay something, you pay 260.23.33, you pay a part of interest and a part of capital that you pay back, right? So here the question is, during last year, what was the part of capital we paid back and what is the part of interest we paid? Knowing that we paid 23.33. Okay, is there someone who has an idea how to do this in the chat? I know it's not so obvious for you because in Vietnam, you don't use the constant annuity system. You use a constant repayment system, which will be what we will do next. We will compare the two of them. But sometimes I've got one student who have the idea to do it. I see that there is no one trying to say something in the chat. So maybe I was not clear, or maybe you don't see the point. So let me future value of present value. Okay, so we begin to, so it's for, okay, PV of 2 years ago. Yeah, we are going towards the solution. It's not exactly this, but okay, so let me share with you because I can see that you have ideas, but I have maybe to help you a little bit to get into the right direction. So I'm gonna share Excel again, and I'm gonna try to find a way to have a look at the PDF at the same time. I hope you can do so, so we can have access to the data. Okay, so I'm gonna create a new. It's like my whiteboard is actually Excel now. So we okay. So the loan has a 4.8% APR with monthly payments of 2,623.33. How much do you owe on the loan today? So how much do you owe on the loan today? Well, this is something we know how to calculate, and this is maybe was what Chang was trying to say, but it's not exactly this. If we remember what we did at the beginning of the course, you know, we had this exercise in the time value of money when we have, you know, we say after 12 years, what we still owe is the 18 years to go. Okay, so same thing here. So after 2 years, there are still 28 years to go. Okay, so the present value of the loan today is the present value of 28 years to pay. Okay, that's the first thing. The first thing we can calculate, this is it. The present value of the loan today is so that how much do you owe on the loan today? So that's how you do it, 20 years to pay, okay? And then the second question is more tricky. The second question says, how much interest did the firm pay on the loan this past year? So how much interest we pay during year 2? Okay. So to do this, we have to remember that we paid a total of 12 monthly annuities. Okay, so we paid a total of 12 times 2, 6, 23, 33. Okay, so that's 12 times 2, 6, 23.33. Okay, okay, this total is made of two things. Interest and capital repaid. Okay. So in this total, we will try to find the repayment of the year. Okay. And we will deduce the interest. Is there someone who is following what I'm doing, and how do you think we could find the repayment of the year here? Is there somebody who could who have an idea about how can we calculate the repayment of the year 2? Somebody in the chat, maybe? Okay, so let me help you. In the year 2, sorry, paid in year 2. And actually, total paid. So the total we paid in year 2 is 31,479.96. Okay, and as I said, this total is made of two things only: interest you repay during the year and capital you repay during the year. Okay, so now we want to know what is a part of interest, part of capital repaid, part of repayment. Okay, and what is a part of interest, which is in this total. What is a part of repayment? What is a part of interest? Okay, the part of repayment, actually, it's going to be easy. I'm not sure it's 30,000, but I need to check. I don't have the figures in my mind. I'm just giving you the logic so you can try to do it for tomorrow. Okay, so you pay a total of 31,479.96. This is made of interest and capital repaid. How would you know the detail of the part of the capital that is being repaid and the part of the capital, the part of interest that are paid? The repayment of year 2 here, actually, what you can do is you calculate the present value of the loan after 1 year. Okay, then you calculate the present value of the loan after 2 years, and the difference is the repayment of the year 2. And once you find this difference of the payment in the year 2, you can deduce a part of interest. Okay, so I would like you to try to do that for tomorrow, because we are nearly 10 p.m. 10 p.m. for you, 10 a.m. for me. And so we discuss that as the beginning of the session tomorrow. Okay, so again, we are in a constant annuity system. Okay, so we pay a total of 12 times the monthly annuity. So we pay 31,479.96. But our problem is we would like to know what is a part of repayment of the loan, what is a part of interest. So what you can do is firstly to calculate the part of the repayment. How do you do that? Well, you calculate the present value of the loan after 1 year, you calculate the present value of the loan after 2 years, and the difference will be the amount you repay during the year. So you can put it here. And once you have this one, well, the interest will be the difference because the 31,479 that you have is made of only two things, interest on capital repaid. So once you find the capital repaid, you can deduce the interest. Is that okay for everyone? The challenge that you have to solve for tomorrow, 7 p.m. Can you upload this draft Excel file in the chat too, Prof? Yes, I can. I can. I will upload the video as well. Is not enough? I can put the draft on, but okay, I'm gonna put the draft and I'm gonna name it. As you can see, the name of it is IDBV Blackboard. So it's like my board. So I'm gonna name it with the date as well. So I'm gonna update today, and so maybe tomorrow as well. Okay, so you can have a look at it. Okay, so you can. So I will try to upload the video very soon. I'm gonna upload this draft of Excel, even if it's just not very clean, but anyway, it's okay for me to share that with you. And so you try to do that for tomorrow. And so we meet at 7 p.m. tomorrow, and we solve that together. Is that okay for everyone? Okay. Okay me, okay Dong, okay Hong, okay Ha, okay me again, Anne. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dong, as well. And I wish you a very pleasant last part of the Saturday evening. Maybe try to have nice dreams. Maybe try not to dream about calculator or APR, or maybe watch a movie before getting to bed, so your brain is cleaned out with everything. I'm just laughing with you. It's very pleasure to work with you. I'm really looking forward to working with you tomorrow. Please enjoy your evening, and hopefully in 1 hour or something like this. If there is no technical issues, maybe you will find the video and the draft of Excel online on Canvas. In between, enjoy your evening, and good night for everyone. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Thank you.